power to bring healing. He comforts us in our troubles. How many are thankful for that? He comforts us in our troubles so that we can comfort others when they are troubled. We will be able to give them the same comfort that God has given us. Your brokenness can put somebody else back together.
We're live. Okay, so hi everybody. I'm Mommy Beatriz, and this is our little CPAM warrior. Miguel, you want to introduce yourself? He's Miguel Angel Zavala, named after his dad. He just turned 10 months, and it's crazy to say that in a month and a half he's gonna be 1. But starting from the very beginning, this is a video that I have been wanting to create for a long time, and I started, I never finished it. Then I'm like, oh, I missed something, I need to talk about it. And then I was like, I'm just gonna do it, and if I miss something, I talk about it later. But this is important for me because February of last year, which is February 17, 2021, during COVID, I went to do my anatomy scan. A lot of times when you go do an anatomy scan, you just think, oh, I'm going to see my baby. It's kind of what you go in to hope to only hear. But some people and some families walk away with a little bit more than just that. Sometimes they walk away with diagnosis. Okay? And that was our case. So I kind of wanted to share our journey from the beginning to up to where we are now, and I have a lot to share, especially because I'm pregnant again, and in a month from now I will also be getting my anatomy scan for my last baby. No flow, and I'll talk about that too. He is a little bit sweaty. 1, it's super freaking hot, and 2, he has to wear his dock band helmet to round and shape in his head. But I just removed it because I'm going to be showering him so he can have a really good sleep. But anyhow, February 17th of last year, I remember I was at work. I was on my way to my doctor appointment. Of course I was running late, nothing new. I was about to cancel it, but I was like, I'm just gonna see if they'll take me in. They took me in late. This is not my first pregnancy. He's my second pregnancy. So when I was pregnant, I remember, and they were doing the ultrasound, I was like, something is odd and off, because the technician was taking a very long time during my scan. She asked me to use the restroom a couple of times. She asked me to step in the waiting room one time, and the final time she told me that the doctor would like to see me. So I just waited in the waiting room. The doctor was taking a long time. That's probably because they weren't expecting to have me in their schedule, in their impacted schedule. But because she was taking a very, very long time, I think it was like 45 minutes that I was waiting, I wanted to go back to work, of course, because I don't know. So I asked the front desk receptionist if I can leave. She went to go talk to the doctor. The doctor said, no, I'm going to meet with her soon. I need her to wait. So I waited. She brought me into the room finally, and she told me, I need you to see a high-risk doctor. We are diagnosing your baby with a CPAM, but I need the high-risk doctor to verify and do more ultrasounds to confirm that. Of course, I have never heard of what CPAM was. CPAM stands for Congenital Pulmonary Airway Malformation, which pretty much means that one of the lungs is forming into, a part of the lung is forming into a tumor. You okay? So, sorry, I have like a lot of brain farts, but she kind of talked to me a little bit about that. I wish she would have shown me like what she was referring to, because I'm very visual. And then she just said, I'm gonna see if I can get an authorization immediately. If I get one over the weekend, I want you to call to make an appointment as soon as possible. And I was like, wow, this must be really serious if it's that urgent, right? So I remember leaving my appointment. I did end up going back to work, but I joined a meeting through the computer. Can we do this video together? It's about you. Yeah. So as I was leaving, I remember calling my sister immediately and my boyfriend and crying and crying. My sister kind of, you know, brought me back down. She's like, you really don't know too much about what's going on. Let's wait till you see someone who has more of a specialty in it and can kind of guide you. When I left that, he's not gonna want to be in my arms. When I left that visit, I ended up reaching out to my cousin that does ultrasounds, and she brought me in like immediately. She kind of talked to me about CPAM. She talked to me about fetal hydrops. So fetal hydrops is pretty much heart failure. Sometimes you'll see like a liquid near. It can be all over. It can spread very quickly, or it can just be certain areas of the body. But it's not good. So she did an ultrasound on me. There was no fetal hydrops, no signs of fetal hydrop. But you can see the bright white lung tumor that was growing in baby's body. She did a lot of printouts for me, and she really educated me in a lot of things. She's very, very informative. A week later, oh no, that Friday actually, which I went to my appointment on a Wednesday, and then that Friday I got a call from a doctor's office, and they said that they wanted to see me, to see a cardiologist. I didn't know what a cardiologist was. I just think of a doctor being a doctor, but of course there's different doctors and different specialties. So cardiologist is a heart specialist because the baby's heart had shifted. Okay, so then later that day, this is Friday, I got another call regarding another ultrasound, and I was like, are they messing up? Why am I being scheduled for 2 appointments and both for ultrasounds? Well, that's because they specialize in different areas. So this second appointment was with my high-risk doctor. Let's see how long he is able to sit here with me to do the video. So I scheduled that. Hey. He's probably hungry too. He just woke up. And his lungs are really good now. You hear that? Yeah. So the week after, obviously I was 21 weeks out. On a Thursday, I went to an appointment with my cousin to see the cardiologist. Cardiologist let me know the heart was shifting. They can only tell me about the heart because that's what they specialize in. But from a heart doctor perspective, everything was looking amazing. There was no signs of fetal hydrop. The heart, he taught me that the heart doesn't have to be placed where our typical normal person has their heart placed. It can be moved around and still function properly. So I left that meeting feeling really good about baby boy's heart. The next day, and then my cousin came with me to kind of view everything as well. The next day, I went to go see a high-risk doctor, and at this appointment, I was not able to bring anybody. This is all during COVID, so like the restrictions are very different. So I went to see a high-risk doctor. I try to pry myself as much as I could, and you can only do so much. So I told myself I'm almost confident that it will be protocol for them to ask me if I want to have an abortion or terminate. I prepared myself for that question. I I knew that's not what I wanted. But I went into this, they did the ultrasound first and took lots of images, a very long appointment, and then I met with my doctor. So at this point I have been referred to UCI, which is in like Orange County. Okay, at this appointment it was very hard. That was one of the questions that they let me know. So this is important for CPAM moms to know. When your child as a fetus is diagnosed with CPAM or CCAM, because it used to be called CCAM, there's a measurement that they go based off of to determine if your pregnancy is considered at a higher risk. So there's a formula that you can find online. I'll have to look for it and maybe attach the link, but anything above a 1.6 CVR, and they calculate the measurements by, I believe it's like the length, the width, and they took another measurement, then get this number. So anything above 1.6 is considered really high risk of fetal hydrops. Well, I was measuring, I believe it was 2.2 at 21 weeks. I tried to do as much research as I could, and this is why this video is important for me, because I couldn't come across a lot of videos or information. There was a lot of textbook information, but like the textbooks were like $300, $400, and I was like, so this is important for me because I want to help someone else or someone else's journey. And one thing I will talk about later on is every CPAM, CCAM journey is very different. But if there's anything that that I say that may help you, like, I want to be helpful and a resource to other parents. Anyhow, so in this meeting, they ended up telling me that my baby's heart had shifted, which I already knew that. The lung tumor was pretty large, and they ended up asking me if I wanted to terminate, and I just started bawling because I prepared myself for that question, but I just, in a way, I couldn't believe that I was being asked that. But I almost want to say that it's protocol. So I think it's important for, if you get any sort of diagnosis, for you to prepare yourself for that question. I really believe it's protocol, and I'll tell you why later. He's getting fussy. Let me see. Look at Bubba. Look. Okay, so I walked out of this appointment, was walking to my car, and I found my sister by the elevator. She had gotten dropped off, and that was really sweet of her because I had to go to this appointment alone, and walking out of there was very difficult. Just to hear everything. It was very scary. So they let me know that I was going to be closely monitored. I believe I was getting seen like every week. So this was at 21 weeks. Actually, that day that I was seen, they recommended that I get my first steroid shot. Now the steroid shot, it's supposed to help reduce the chances of you getting fetal hydrop, which is the heart failure. So I was like, whatever is going to help my baby, I want to do. So they sent me to the UCI hospital, and it was 2 shots. One shot, I think the first one was like on my left butt cheek. Then you have to come back exactly 24 hours later to get the second shot. So I went back that Saturday to get the second one. Then at 25 weeks, my body, and I know every pregnancy is different. I don't think it was because of, part of it might have been, but because of the diagnosis. But this second pregnancy, it just really weighed down my body compared to my first one. My first one, I didn't have my daughter until I was 41 weeks, and I had so much energy, and I was doing everything on my own. Like, I was good. With him, he was kicking my butt from the beginning. At 25 weeks, I was really struggling to even walk. My body was really exhausted, and exactly at 25 weeks, I ended up going on leave from work, which I will talk about that later, because that's an important entity to everything as well. I ended up, the doctor that I was seeing at UCI, she recommended that I go see some specialists at UCSF, which is in San Francisco, which is pretty far. And so my boyfriend took some time off. We went a couple of weeks, and we had like back-to-back appointments because we knew that we were coming from a distance. I think our appointments started like at 8 in the morning. They didn't end until 5, and I think both of the times that we went, we came back home after our appointments, and it was a very long drive and it was very exhausting. And when you're pregnant and sitting in there, anyhow, when I went to UCSF, I didn't feel like they knew any more than UCI did. That's the reason I did not continue my prenatal care at UCSF. One of the things that I had researched was that you can do, you hear the birds chirping, chirping. You can do a surgery on a fetus baby. So they would pretty much open me up, keep the baby on the umbilical cord, remove the baby, do surgery on the baby, and place the baby back into my belly, allow me to complete my my pregnancy as long as we could go. And that was something that they were not comfortable with. I think they do it more in Philadelphia, and I'll have to look up what it's called. I'm forgetting already. That's one of the reasons I want to start sharing my videos. I wasn't too happy with the doctors at UCSF. It's just, and you will see what I'm talking about. You'll meet some people and you're like, it's just, you're like, I want them to be a part of our journey. You'll meet other people, you're like, I don't want them to be any part of our care. And that's how I felt about UCSF. I know that they're a great hospital. I just wasn't really feeling the doctors over there. So when I came back, I let UCI know that I wanted to continue my prenatal care out here. Now this was in March. In May, Mother's Day weekend, my daughter's birthday is Cinco de Mayo, and I told myself I better have her birthday party or her drive-through party a week before her birthday, or a couple weeks before her birthday, because I wasn't feeling so well. So, and on top of that, they were saying that my prenatal care might, if they see me at UCSF and if I liked it, I might remain there for the rest of my pregnancy, which pretty much I didn't stay over there. But the weekend of Mother's Day in May 2021, I ended up getting admitted to the hospital at UCI hospital. What's going on, big boy? I'm trying to tell them your story. What do you want to say? What do you want to say? Okay, so I ended up getting admitted because the CVR measured 4.56, which is extremely large. Now, kind of bringing it back to UCSF, when I met with the doctor over there, she said, I've seen CPAM babies, but I've seen one in the 7 years that she was there at that doctor's that had a large mass or tumor like baby boy did. So again, it's already very unique. It was just more unique because of how large it was. So when I came back, they ended up admitting me for a day. They were monitoring me. They were monitoring baby. Babies looked good. No signs of fetal height drop. So after staying the night, they ended up discharging us the next day. Also, when I went to UCSF, I did a MRI, a fetus MRI. And if anybody has ever gone through those big machines, it is very, very, very difficult. I was in there for an hour and a half. I could not move because we can't control his movement, right? Because he's in my belly, and he was moving a lot. But it was very difficult. I was in there for an hour and a half, especially if you're pregnant. I had to be on my back the entire time. It was just, and it's very loud, and it says, breathe in, breathe out. Like, it's just, it was very crazy. 1 second, you guys, let me make sure. Did you go to the bathroom? No. Okay. I hope that wasn't caught on camera. So they ended up discharging us. By some point, I ended up having a total of 3 rounds of steroid shots, 2 shots each time. The first time it was both of my on both sides of my bottom. The second time I got it, it was 1 time on my bottom, the other time on my arm, the third time was the same thing. And throughout this journey, I'm getting exhausted, you guys. Throughout this entire time, I mean, we're still in COVID. Things were very difficult. I was a wreck. I was a hot mess, and a part of me, my heart was like, I feel like things are gonna be okay. I just felt so confident in that. But I also had to prepare myself, because as much as you can prepare, because you really didn't know the outcome, especially his circumstance. So moving forward, I feel like I'm gonna forget a lot of things, but I'm gonna cut it short so I can take him his bath. That's what he wants. We ended up scheduling C-section dates on June 21st. I knew that I wanted a C-section. One of the questions that they would ask me is if one of the questions that they asked me is if I wanted my tubes tied, and that was such a scary question, because I felt like I only wanted 2 babies, and I wanted Emily to grow up with a sibling, but because I didn't know the outcome, I ended up just saying no. I'll have my baby, we'll see how things go, and then we'll go from there. Okay. We're both tired. Oh, big boy. Look, he's so cute. Say hello, friends. Hello. He's gonna want my computer. He's stinky. So we scheduled the date, and it was June 21st, 2021. This date was important because I needed to make sure that all the specialists, everybody knew that date was coming. I wanted all the doctors, all the nurses, everybody to be prepared. Cutting it short, I'll talk more about later. There's a couple people that are here. But we scheduled his surgery, and baby boy came out screaming. I'm gonna talk more about the delivery room, how crazy it was. But here's my baby. Say bye-bye. Say bye, Papa. We'll do the next video soon.